Hey everybody, it's Josh.
And I'm Alvin.
And we're here for Star Trek Picard, Episode 2, Maps and Legends.
Live long and prosper.
Engage.
On screen.
I'm getting an Aussie's spot, Captain.
Do it.
Photon torpedoes armed and ready to launch.
He's dead, Jim.
Red alert.
Today is a good day to die.
I'm a doctor, not a zookeeper.
We are Borg.
Make it so.
Warp speed, now.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So yeah, today we're going to be doing episode 2, Maps and Legends. We're going to start off with a spoiler-free portion of the review, and then we will warn you when we're getting to the spoiler portion part.
Yes, and we won't spoil anything.
Yeah, overall, what did you think of the episode? I liked it.
I loved it.
Yeah?
I loved it. I thought it built upon everything we saw in the first episode, expanded a little bit, and just gets a little bit better every time.
Yeah, it's very, I mean, it's a very exposition heavy, I felt. I was still okay with the slow pace, but I felt like not a lot technically happened, but overall,
Yeah,
like it feels like we're not being dragged from one scene to another. Like
we're not being pushed either. Like we're not
Yeah.
being like thrown into situation after situation. There's a lot of exposition. I mean, we were talking about this earlier in terms of these first 2 episodes seem to be, there's a lot of exposition, but it's not forcing the exposition on me. I think we're all just so hungry for more information, right? Like we want to know what's going on. So we're okay with a little bit of like talking to us, which I'm okay with so far. You know, everything's been interesting, and I just want more and more and more and more of it. When we got to the end of the episode today, I was like, "Was that it?"
I know, yeah. Honestly, like I mean, if they had 24 episodes to do, you can definitely tell. Like, I mean, this second episode definitely would have been the second half of the premiere. Like, it feels like, you know, at the end of the first episode, you know, there wasn't quite enough for a premiere. Like, it works because this is what we need for this 10 episode kind of overall arc. And the way they're telling
it did feel a little narrow. The first episode did,
Yeah.
and then this one felt that way a little bit. I mean, it's still a lot of Picard sitting in his armchair in his gorgeous estate.
Yeah.
But we're all okay with. I think that we're all okay with this slower, you know, more sensitive, heavier, weightier Star Trek in a way, because we were looking for that. You know, like Discovery's the popcorn Trek, and that's great for a lot of reasons, I think. But Picard is going to be a little bit more contemporary, I think, and a lot more serious.
Yeah, I think you can definitely see. You said that they're going for a more cerebral look, cerebral feel, and the pacing is I felt it was fairly consistent throughout the episode. It wasn't like up and down. And when you did, and even though it was very exposition heavy, there was a lot of you started to really see, okay, so these are where all the characters are coming from. You can kind of understand where everyone kind of is now, right? Versus in the first episode, you weren't sure, where did this person come from? Where do they stand in terms of what's their background and what, you know, how...
I think they set up the Lego pieces for us in the first one, and now they're kind of like just filling in the little details on everything so that we can get to know these characters a little bit better.
It feels like when we do get to the next episode, I feel that's going to be a lot more action-y, probably.
Well, there wasn't any action in this episode at all, was there?
No, there was no. I didn't. No, there really wasn't.
Not really.
No. Oh, you know, at the very beginning there was, but we'll get into that in a second. But that was it.
Oh,
and then
but
but then
already saw that.
Yeah. But overall, I enjoyed it. I liked it. I can't wait for more.
Good episode. I cannot wait for more. You can tell this is part of a however many piece setup they've got going for us, and we know some of the characters that are still not here that are going to pop up, so ready for that too. And I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, so that's a spoiler-free portion. So if you haven't seen the episode yet, go watch it. And if you just don't mind seeing listening or hearing spoilers, you know, they're coming in 3, 2, 1. Utopia Planitia.
So the Zat Vash. I've been wanting to say Zat Vash the entire time, and I got to say it.
We start off the episode, we get to see Utopia Planitia and the Synth Revolt. And to me, it's obvious, you know, it's obvious that, you know, they got hacked. To me, it looks like they got hacked, you know, and just, we don't really see the whole, we see like images on a screen of this revolt, and people we see at the beginning, you know, they get
well, it kind of
killed.
takes place inside a, like, it almost feels like a cargo container or something where, like, you know all the horrible things that are happening outside and you can hear it and see it. Because we already saw a lot of the action of that. Like we saw the ships flying over in the first episode, and we kind of saw like footage of that again. We saw that same footage in this one.
Yeah.
We got that neat shot of the Planitia yards though at the the beginning of the episode where they like dive through it or whatever. We get to see all the cool ships.
So they're talking about First Contact Day.
Yeah. I loved seeing all the new ship designs. It's really cool.
Something else I noticed too is that one of the characters who gets killed like almost right away. It's obvious that there's still like, and I feel they did it on purpose. The synths are not seen by many people, I feel, as being living things. Like we see all these synths at the beginning as laborers.
They're all pretty synth racist, aren't they?
Well, it's also, I think,
we were past this in Star Trek.
Well, this is the thing, right? Because if you look throughout TNG, there have been numerous instances.
That's true.
Right? It's Data's, whether or not he's, alive or not comes into question, right? So
yeah, we've got a lot. You're right. We got a lot of episodes of that. It moves on to holograms later in Voyager, where you get,
whether or not the
Captain
Doctor's
Janeway's a little hollow racist too.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I guess you're right.
Yeah. But I mean, this is the thing, right? These are new issues that they are facing. These would be the issues that they're facing in the 24th and early 25th century.
Contemporary, sort of. For
because exactly. But we go on to see. So after the opening, of course, we have a scene where Picard is talking. He takes Loras and they go to Dahj's apartment, and they have this kind of technobabble thing with like this weird holographic recreation of like Dahj and her boyfriend from the first episode. And then suddenly, they can't go past a certain point. There's like, well, what was that? I can't know.
I don't remember. It was like a particle re-synthesizer or something. It like takes the molecules that are residual.
Yeah, which have been
insert technobabble here that is in the room and then rearranges them in the way they were in the past or something.
Yeah, I mean, the point of the bat scene too, I think too, was to show that hey, Loras knows some stuff, which we'll get into in a second, and Tajanji is off world, right? Wherever she is, she's not on Earth, so Picard has to get a ship.
And one little piece of that scene that I really, really liked was that when she's explaining like the technology, and she's got like a little pad thing, and the information's popping up, and Picard says something like, "Well, isn't that thing like not very useful? Like the Federation found that technology didn't really work that well, or whatever." And she's like, "No, that's exactly what the Tal Shiar wanted you to think." And I like that little drop, right? Like
that's what we wanted you to think.
Yeah, that's what she said. That's what we wanted you to think.
Yeah.
Well, it's just a nice little piece of world building. Like, no, we made sure that research was flawed. So
yeah, and it's nice because this is another theme that comes up later on in the episode, right? After this scene, we later see that Loras and Picard are talking, and actually it kind of intercut between the scene in Boston and Picard with Loras and Gervan at Chateau Picard. And they're talking about the Tal Shiar, right? Which as Josh mentioned, comes up. And they're talking about this new, like this sect of the Tal Shiar, the
Zhat Vash.
The Zhat Vash.
I think there's more of a Vash.
Vash, yeah. Who are very anti-android, right? Loras brings up, have you ever wondered why you don't see AI or synthetic human or synthetic Romulans?
That was really well deployed. Like when she was saying it, I'm like, you're right. We've never have seen that. It's a nice thing where the rhetoric is backed up by all the stuff we didn't see in the Romulan Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that it's obvious that they're setting up that they're starting to put into place. Here's what happened. Here are our possible villains. Here's what are you going to do about it? Right. Here's the person that's important to whatever villainous plan.
Yeah, we're finally getting sort of like the machinations going on behind the scenes. We're starting to put faces and names with that in a way that we weren't the first episode.
Yeah. So later on, Picard goes and he has a scene, and this, I mean, and I think you had mentioned this would have been a perfect opportunity for this, but yeah, we have a scene where Picard meets up with a former Stargazer crew member who maybe was a ship's doctor, right? And yeah, and they are hinting, I think, very heavily at his Irumenic syndrome. I would have been nice to have seen Diane Mulder as Pulaski, or Dr. Crusher even, but
should have pulled in Gates McFadden or another doctor from pull in Robert Picardo or Alexander Siddig and just do a 5-second cameo.
Yeah, but I mean,
would have been cool.
Yeah, I'm thinking like. Part of me is like, I'm glad they didn't, but it could have been. But I feel like if you bring back Gates McFadden, you have to have for more than just a small cameo, right?
Yeah, maybe not. I think that if you did it in a small, tasteful way, you you kind of do that fan service and then you move on. Yeah, I wouldn't want her to like pop back up all the time or become a regular cast member. I think not that I have a problem with Gaze McFadden.
But I feel like if you're going to bring her
Pulaski
back,
was better. But anyway,
I did like Pulaski. Not a lot of people like Pulaski. I like Pulaski.
Love Pulaski.
Yeah. But I mean,
snark.
Yeah, but I feel like like if they were to bring her back, I feel that's probably why they didn't bring her back. Is that because if you do, you got to do more with that character. Right. But they do later on name drop Geordi, Worf, Riker, right? In a later scene. But yeah, it was kind of nice to see, Picard now. Okay, so he does want to go back to Starfleet at least just to do this one last mission, right? And he basically approaches his former Stargazer crew member to see if like he can just get cleared for interstellar space travel. So yeah, later on we see he has an audience with the for this commander in chief of the CNC of
that scene was the best.
Yeah, that was something else. Like he arrives at Starfleet. He arrives in San Francisco at Starfleet Headquarters. We have the Star Trek theme come up. Which is definitely fan service. So that it's like a Federation-y thing.
I like that the theme song comes up. There's this big epic moment. He's kind of striding into the headquarters and everything.
He goes up to the receptionist, and the receptionist doesn't know who he is, right?
I think the receptionist knew who he was.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, I totally think the receptionist knew who he was, but he was like, I saw a wink almost like there, like, I know who you are, but I have to ask who you are, right? Like you're working the front desk and you know who this person is. But
I don't think he knew.
I need to see your ID, sir, just because I have to or whatever. I think he knew.
Yeah, we've got, we see the Disco Enterprise E hologram. We see the Enterprise D from TNG. We see a hologram of the ship above. And yeah, we see a really intense scene between, the chief of Starfleet, Admiral Clancy, and it's obvious that she's got a big chip on her shoulder. She does not like Picard. Picard comes in there and says, "I need this. I'd be willing to have my rank reduced."
I think she saw that interview last week and is a little pissed.
Yeah, it sounds like she mentions it. She mentions it. And it's obvious like she is having none of it. It's like I don't care.
She drops an F-bomb.
She drops an, and I feel the F-bomb was forced, a little bit, but at the same time, it's like part of me is like, the thing is that this is the first time we start hearing people talk like,
like human beings.
Yeah, because it's always been so sterile.
No, I like that this happened on Discovery. They dropped the first F-bomb on Discovery.
I didn't feel that was forced though,
and it was a little bit more natural because I think that's more of an F-bomby show. Like, it's just like,
I like hearing things like "dude," and not that I want everything to be dude.
No, but
it's nice hearing people talk like human.
Yeah, and I think that the writers have to like work through that with that because we haven't done that before. We're not used to swearing on Star Trek, and we're not used to this level of darkness in some cases. So
yeah,
I think that they just have to work through it a little. This one felt a little forced, but I don't know. I thought it was a really well deployed use of the F-bomb.
Yeah, you could tell. I think
she was raging when she drops that, and she is. I really got a sense that she's like just deeply, profoundly pissed at Jean-Luc Picard over that interview and over maybe
what happened before
and his sort of like political stance on this
we
issue.
Get some tidbits too. Like we find out that during this whole incident that there were like 15 other Federation members were basically saying no, like leave.
Right.
Let the Romulans. Let what happens to the Romulans happen, and they were like threatening to leave the Federation over
politics of the situation and why the decision was made.
And why wouldn't why wouldn't we see? Why wouldn't that actually happen? This is the thing that I'm really liking about this show right now is that we're seeing that there's utopia but in a realistic sense. I mean, disease is gone for the most part, right? There are still like health issues. Poverty is gone, but there is still some issues that we're obviously facing, social issues that we're facing. But it's not a sterile world, which I think any portrayal of that to me would be unrealistic. Like people talk like they should be talking like. People are talking like humans would talk, like it sounds realistic. These are things that would happen and I could totally see that happening. Like, because you're going to have people who have had issues with Romulans and now this thing's going to happen. This big issue with Romulans is happening and suddenly we're helping them. And it's like, no, my family was killed by Romulans or this happened, and why wouldn't they be mad? I mean, it's hard. Any type of big organization like this, you're going to have member states who are basically going to want their say and feel like they're being heard, right?
This is a Star Trek. This is a theme that an idea that we explored in DS9 a little bit. There was a lot of episodes where Cisco would like go back to Earth and stuff would happen there. There were a couple conspiracy episodes and everything else, but they didn't really know how to handle it in the 90s as well. I think. I mean, those were still great episodes and it was still a good show, but now we're like I feel like it's just like now we've got the modern, updated version of that.
Yeah.
And, it's really nice to see.
Yeah.
Because this is what I like about this show, and where I'm hoping this show is going, where I see it going, is all those nooks and crannies that we were talking about earlier, like where, what does this bar look like in San Francisco, and what is life like for normal people who are not Starfleet elites, that sort of thing. That's what I want to see in this show, and it looks like we're going straight there.
Yeah, I mean, he leaves the meeting. It's obvious he's obviously upset because it's like his he points out Data gave his life for the Federation. Like he died to protect you. It's like this thing when he comes in thinking I'm going to get support, he gets none of it. And then he decides
Shinzon was on his way to Earth to exterminate everyone when Data died.
If it wasn't for Data, the Earth would have been assimilated in Best of Both Worlds.
As bad as that movie may have been, we have to acknowledge that it happened.
Yeah. And it leads, we lead into the next scene where we see, Picard has told Loras, I'm going. And that's when we find out, and they don't directly go out and say it, but I think based on how much exposition and stuff that she does in the episode, she says, the only people who can protect you against the Tal Shiar is Tal Shiar. Yeah. And it doesn't say that I'm Tal Shiar, but I think it's obvious that they're former Tal Shiar.
She's like, the only people who can protect you from the Tal Shiar are the Tal Shiar. Like, she looks at the camera, she's like, right? Like me?
Yeah, but she's basically saying, you're dumb for doing this because, you're going to get killed and I don't want you to get killed. We have Jerban, basically saying, that's when he says you need a crew. You need to go to Riker, go to Geordi, go to Worf. And, he basically, Picard's like, I don't want to go to them because they'll do it. And then their lives are in danger and they have families now, etc. And Jerban says, you need somebody who hates you. And, has nothing to lose. And that's when we finally get to see, another another main character gets introduced. Yes, we finally, it's Raffi Musiker gets introduced, he says to Jerban, I've made the call, right? And we see that she has a chip on her shoulder about Picard. He comes there, in a space taxi.
Yeah, she calls it a cab.
Yeah.
She's like, good, you better call the cab back.
Yeah. And she's like, there's nothing you can say that'll make me help you. And as he's turning around, he's like, there are Romulan agents on Earth, and she's like, did you bring the 86?
He kind of shoves it off.
Yeah. I love how he kind of throws it doesn't throw it, but he kind of moves.
Piece of physical acting. Where he
moves the wine behind him because he's turned away from her. He's turned away from her right at this point. And as he turns, he says the line, and then he throws this piece of, he shows the wine as he's turning around, and that's the thing that entices her, like, okay, come on, right? Yeah, but it's cool to see basically a futuristic hick.
Yeah, that's what I said during the episode, because I liked seeing this woman sitting out on the porch of her essentially a trailer in the middle of the desert somewhere. Did we get where he was? I don't know. Looked like a southwestern desert somewhere, and she's got a rifle sitting out there waiting, and she got this whole get off my lawn kind of
get off my porch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, you got wine? Never mind. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's probably, of course, it's more intricate than that, but it felt like I liked this scene. I did like the interaction between them, right?
Yes, you could tell that you could tell that there's a lot behind whatever this is, and that we're gonna get there eventually.
Yeah, but we did get a little bit of Agnes. We saw Agnes again a little bit. So it's obvious that wherever he goes, he's gonna bring her along. We didn't get a lot of Allison Pill this episode, which is fine. I'm sure we'll get more later on, but I mean they had a little interaction between the two of them where she said, he asked her if you'd like some tea, and she's like, do you have any Earl Grey? And she's like, I knew I liked you, or something, I knew there was something about you. Yeah. And of course we get the little thing where I love that line, didn't care much for science fiction.
Oh yes. The that made me think of that line in what was it? I'm really not much of an actor. From that episode where Beverly's trying to get him to be in the play that she's putting on or whatever. Yeah. Breaking the fourth wall just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Now, of course, during the whole episode, we were cutting back and forth to the Romulan Reclamation Center. We're seeing Sanji. It's she and Narek are in a relationship, and it's obvious that she's a mark for Narek, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's obviously working her out.
Yeah, because it turns out the Tal Shiar or Vash Vash, or both, have infiltrated Starfleet. Admiral Clancy calls a Commodore O. We see another Commodore.
We haven't seen Commodore since TOS.
Yeah.
They got rid of that rank for a while.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Commodore O. To me now, and this is weird because she's a Vulcan. She looks Vulcan, right? She calls in after after Clancy basically says, look into this, right? She calls in this Lieutenant Rizzo, and they're talking, and it's obvious that it's obvious that O and Rizzo are involved in covering up. They're the ones who covered up Dahj's death and all the Romulan activity that happened on Earth. She points to one scene where it's like, does that look like disruptor fire? And this one tiny obscure thing.
Yeah, you forgot to erase that from the video or whatever.
This one tiny little thing, know, and so which is such a Vulcan thing to do. I feel like so.
Well, it's a Vulcan thing, but probably also a really good operative.
Espionage.
Yeah, exactly. A really good espionage thing. Should probably scrub your videos.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is that they basically reveal that they reveal that they're operatives there, they're undercover, and that Rizzo is responsible for I guess indirectly, maybe she was leading this. She was in charge of sending these teams to capture Dahj, and Dahj, of course, died.
She's a middle manager.
Yeah, and she's basically says, you screwed up the first one. We've got a second. We have one more opportunity. Don't mess it up. And of course, Rizzo's like, don't worry, I have my best person on it who has reservations of, and it's Narek, right? Who turns out is Rizzo's brother.
Yeah. All sorts of tangled weaves on this one.
Yeah.
They kind of throw a lot of that real quickly in there to give you the whole Starfleet's infiltrated. These are bad actors, and they all know each other and have crazy histories.
Yeah. So Narek and Rizzo, who is definitely Romulan, because Narek makes a point of saying, you look weird with your, like your.
I mean, that's basically what he said. Yeah, you look weird with round ears.
You look ridiculous with the round ears. Yeah. And basically she hints, I care about you, brother.
Baby brother.
Yeah. I care about your baby brother, but I care about me more. So, don't mess it up, because if I have to come here, I'm going to base, it sounds like it's going to be.
Narek does the power move, which is the walk through your hologram. That's how you know you're a badass.
Yeah, when you walk through the hologram.
You walk through somebody else's image.
Yeah. But then they also refer to Commodore O as being an ally. So I was kind of, on my second viewing of the episode, I'm thinking, is she a Romulan? Is she a Vulcan? What is she? She could be, and I think it hasn't been, we have to wait and see.
I'm leaning Vulcan.
Yeah, I'm leaning Vulcan
putting my
too.
cards in Vulcan.
Vulcan sympathizer.
Yeah. Because we, earlier in Enterprise and Discovery, we've seen the Vulcan extreme logic extremist kind of actors, so we can see kind of how crazy extremist Vulcans can get, and I think that's where I'm putting my cards.
Yeah, I can definitely see him playing on that angle. Yes, I'm really enjoying the episode. I do like the little tidbits, but I'm also enjoying that when they do callbacks, it's not necessarily in your face, except for the one part where they came up with the Star Trek theme as Picard returns to.
Hey, you got to do that every once in a while. It's a Star Trek show.
And it was welcome though. I enjoyed it. It was not, but I was never thinking, it's in my face. I'm liking the pacing. I like that they're setting everything up. But I also like that we are getting more information. We're finding out these people are most likely Tal Shiar. Federation's been infiltrated. Here all these things are happening. It's not like this long drawn out thing where.
Yeah, you're right. We did learn a lot. They set up all the cards in the first one, and then now they knocked some of them over and filled in, sort of the design that they have for this. And it was done sensitively, but at a rapid enough pace where, we have 4 times more information than we had in the last episode, in the same amount of time.
But you can definitely tell that it's a different kind of serialization. In any Like when you have 24 episodes, you can basically do not a bottle show, but you do a contained episode that serves as part of the greater arc, but also serves as its own episode. Picard only has 10, right? So what we're getting is essentially a 1/10 of the total story, and that's fine.
I recently rewatched DS9, and when you go back through there's probably 5 or 10 really awesome serialized episodes in every season, and then there's all this other crap in between that you kind of have to like pick around if you want to, if you don't want to fall asleep. And so I feel like those, like in the past, those episodes have always been there, but it was just a matter of digging through the crap to get to them. Now you got 10 episodes, they're going to be serialized, and the writers can just take advantage of that. They don't have to be bothered, writing another episode. I don't know. We got 14 more episodes. Let's make Quark's mom come back again or whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is that some of those episodes are really good. But,
yeah, they are.
But not all of it. And it's like...
They're not part of the overall arc, and they don't, like... It's just like that arc would get, like, so...
Muddy?
Well, yeah, muddy. It's like, what's happening again? And the pacing was so bad. It's like, you get an arc episode, and then you get 3 episodes, and one of them might be funny in the comedic relief episode, another, and then the other 2 were terrible, and then you get another great arc episode, and then like it's just like, come on, can we keep the arcs more condensed? You
don't have to worry about bottle shows where
it's
just like, we need to fill the time, we don't have a budget because we blew it on the next episode, so let's fill it with something. And to be fair, some of those episodes were great when they did that, but they also...
A lot of them were terrible, and it really messed with the sort of the tone, and you couldn't establish a consistent tone and theme for the show. DS9 was supposed to be. We're supposed to be talking about Picard, but again, like Picard just feels very confident. It knows what it is, in a way that I think Discovery ended up feeling that way for me, but I didn't feel that confident in it at the beginning.
Yeah,
it took a while, and it took a couple of rewatches to really feel like, okay, I really understand this. But Picard just feels like it's like, we know what we're doing, we know what we're about, and this is it.
Yeah, and I think so far for me it's working. I can't wait till the next episode.
Yeah, I can't wait either.
The Trekily theme is Gravity by Stanley Gurvich, found on Artlist. All stock images and videos were acquired through Pixabay. Podcasting services acquired through Spreaker. All images and videos related to Star Trek are owned by CBS Corporation and are used within fair use laws. Please don't sue us.
Thanks for beaming aboard today.
If you like the show, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell.
We really enjoy making these episodes, so if you like to support the show, go ahead and consider buying us a coffee.
You can do that on coolbiscuss.com, where you can also check out our other shows.
Till next time, Kapla.
And thank you for engaging with us.